The whole process of entrepreneurship is rooted in the creation and exploration of new ideas. When an entrepreneur is able to generate a new idea that is feasible as well as efficient, it gives him or her an edge over the competition. Creativity helps develop new ways of improving an existing product or services, optimizing a business. Welcome to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I am your host, Mervyn Budram, and we are creatives transforming lives. Welcome back to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I'm your host, Mervyn Budram, and I will be with you for the next hour. It's good to be back home. It's good to be back in Belize. For those who don't know, I was actually in Miami for the past few days. I was actually at the Belize Investment and Economical Forum. It was an amazing experience. It was hosted by the Belize America Chamber of Commerce, led by Mr. Michael Young. And I just wanted to just say congratulations to Michael and his team for pulling off an amazing event this last week. We were learning a lot about investment opportunities here in Belize, and I'm really excited to share some of that in the near future. Things that will definitely help put Belize and shift the economical realities that we're facing here in Belize. So I'm excited to have some guests that we've met on that show on this weekend to come on our show to talk a little bit more about that. But again, I just wanted to say welcome to the Creative Monday Discussion Show. I am very excited to be with you guys another evening. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and being a part of the show. For those who are tuned in on Facebook, those who are tuned in on YouTube, welcome. You know how it goes, guys. Use the comment section. We want to hear from you. We want to know where in the world you're tuned in from. I want to say, sorry about that. I have a little grogginess in my throat, but that's okay. I want to say good night to my mother-in-law. She's tuned in, Miss Bernice. I say happy birthday. It was her birthday last week, so happy birthday to you, Mom. Thank you for supporting us and what we're doing, and we want to hear from others as well, where you're tuned in from. We want to know what's going on in your space. We want to actually include you in the conversation, so use the comment section to tune in. I want to say I see Yonette Odessa from New York. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in and being with us tonight. It's going to be an exciting show. We have some amazing guests lined up for you tonight. And also, we want to say greetings to our friends watching on TNC here in Belize. You guys, it's always amazing to have the support of TNC and our audience here in Belize tuning in. Use the number 501-623-7898 to send in comments as well and to be a part of the discussion. And then we also have our friends tuning in Europe on Caribbean Invest TV and the Caribbean era. I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in and making this show your show. Tonight's episode is all about entrepreneurship. We're talking, we call it our Entrepreneurial Spotlight. Every month we bring on entrepreneurs who are using their giftings, their talent, their creativity, and they're doing unique and amazing things with their products and services. So tonight we have two guests, two businesses lined up for you. And I'm really looking forward to hearing their journey, learning more about what they're doing through their brands, and really kind of dive into who they are and what they're doing. But before that, I just want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Global Leadership Summit Belize. They inspire and equip world-class leadership and ignite transformation.
How many of you are ready to grow in your leadership?
Most of the times, the growth option is the scariest one.
Imagine the legacy you would want and then work backwards.
Our legacy is defined by how we treat others.
Only you can choose how you want to impact your society.
What's the best that can happen?
The very reason you are where you are is because you're the right person for this moment.
The Global Leadership Summit, guys, an amazing summit. It's a gathering of leaders where you can get inspired, get new ideas, learn how to improve and grow your leadership. They always talk everything rise and fall at the hands of leaders, right? And so if you're interested, actually their summit is coming up here in October. So I want to encourage you guys, go to their website and just sign up and be a part of that event. You won't regret it. Let's jump in. As I mentioned, I'm excited, and I'm always excited. I'm always on a rush, and I'm kind of trying to calm myself down a little bit because I just really want to hop in and get involved with the discussion. Guys, entrepreneur is such a dear passion to me. I love entrepreneurship. I love the idea of it. Entrepreneurs solve problems. We look into our community. We look at things that's happening, and we're thinking, okay, how can we fix it? How can we improve it? How can we make it better? How can we make the world and our space better through what we do with our business? And that's a big part of why I love entrepreneurship, right? And so it always excites me to be able to highlight entrepreneurs and just see what they're doing. And again, before we bring on our guests, our first set of guests, I just want to give a shout out to the Gospel Music Buzz. I see they're tuned in, as well as Strict Big Dog. Interesting names I see here on but I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of the show. So we want to bring on our first guest for tonight. She's no stranger to me, and her brand and her company is no stranger to me. I've actually sampled, enjoyed many times her product. Her name is Hannah Smith. She is the founder of Loves, and Hannah grew up with a passion for art, and she was raised in an artistic family, and she showed her love for art through drawing. Their family showed her art through drawing and crafting. Hannah showed her love for art as a young age through baking, and she loved baking, loved using the oven and cooking, and men love cooking and men love baking, and so that's a really cool thing. But Hannah loved showing her creativity and art through baking. With the encouragement of family and friends, she stepped out and she started her own venture called Loves. And so I want to ask you guys to help me welcome Hannah and her team. Hannah is not alone tonight. Hannah is being joined by her partner, Paul Smith, as well. So welcome Paul and Hannah to the screen. Hi, Hannah. How are you doing this evening? Hey, Paul. How are you doing this evening?
Good night. I'm doing fine. And you?
Doing well. Paul, it's good to see you as well. Welcome to the Creative Monday Discussion Show.
Hi, good night, everyone. And Merv, it's good to have you back. Glad your travels. You had safe travels, and let's get into it then.
Yeah, I agree. I was a little bit nervous with this traveling thing, but I was so glad that I was able to safely go up and safely come back and jump right back into the show, right? Because that's kind of what we're here for. So what I want to start off by asking, tell us about Loves. Like, what is Loves? What's the heart behind it? What's the idea behind Loves? And anyone of you can take it.
Loves is a family-based home bakery at the moment. We are located at number 1 Iguana. Our idea behind Loves is to continue the traditional baking. We grew up in a family where my grandfather was the man of the kitchen, and my mom taught each and every one of us, male and female, to bake and cook. And with Loves, we want our customers to get that feel of home, of your grandparents, to reminisce, what it was like growing up. So with Loves, our aim is to keep that home feeling, but on a large scale. We would like to bring in other products, that Belize have not yet experienced that, even if that means as a business we creating our own products. Paul?
Yeah. Well, even Hannah, you said something just now that I really loved, and you're continuing family tradition, because for those who don't know, I'm talking to family here. I'm married to Hannah's sister and Paul's sister, Ruth. That's my wife. And so like I have the first inside scoop of a lot of these stories, right? So I can kind of dig a little bit deeper here. But, you know, I've heard so much about your grandfather, so much about the sweets he's done and the baking and the different things he's done. And, you know, my next question was, where did the inspiration come from? So obviously it came from him. So tell us a little bit about him and some of what it was like for you as kids going to visit him and, you know, smelling the food, seeing what he's doing.
Okay. Well, with my grandfather, you know, he did a lot. Like you said, he did his sweets. You know, we know every Christmas we would get, you know, the candy cane and stuff from him. You know, we have 1 and 2 of our family members who still have that art of creating his sweets. And then he had pastry, you know, my favorite was the red pie. I remember that specifically, you know, I remember my mom, summer, Easter's, Christmas, you know, we would have our bags packed from the following night because we know we're taking the trip to him, you know, and we wouldn't sleep the entire night because, you know, we were excited and we would sleep on the bus from Belmopan to Belize City just so that, you know, the trip felt short. Yeah. And, you know, reaching Barak Road in Belize City, the alley was our point, you know, everybody would break off from there running and he would be by the window of the kitchen. You know, he always had something prepared and something ready for us, you know, and I always, with us starting this business as a family, you know, I always told my mom, if he was here, you know, I know the ideas would be floating because he would come with many additions and, you know, we'll try this or you could do this or, you know, so my mom is a lot like him. She is, you know, always encouraging us to try something or do something in the line that she said, well, daddy used to do it like this, you know. So he has been a big inspiration for the idea behind the all feel we want to share True Loaf.
Awesome. I love it. You know, Paul, tell us a little bit about your role and because as Hannah said earlier, it's a family run business. So tell us a little bit about your role and how you interact and work with Hannah in the business.
Okay, sure, Merv. Yes, like Hannah said, it's a family run business, and you know, running a business with your family, sometimes, you know, you have to figure out how to navigate. But you know, Hannah is the mastermind. She's the founder. She's the baker. She's the one that makes the products, right? So when you eat something from Loaves and you enjoy it, you know, you have to thank Hannah Smith. I am acting in the capacity right now as a manager somewhat, and we are working to get our products out there. You know, pretty soon you will see the products in stores. So in the capacity I am acting right now is both as a taste tester, as a customer, and also I am, you know, networking with the wider Belmopan community to get it in the stores, to get it, you know, just to get it in the conversation of, you know, people talking, you know, they're like, what to eat? I wonder what we should have for supper, you know? And even if the name Loaves come up as an option, even if they don't necessarily choose it, you know, that's what I'm working on, you know, getting our brand out there. And so that's the capacity that I am working in right now.
Man, that's awesome. I really applaud you guys for this. You know, you said it right. Working with family is challenging, but when you clearly define roles and then everyone start to work within their role, it really helps things to move forward, because family as well is one of the most trusted help and assistant in building a brand together. But let's talk a little bit about some of the challenges. Like, you know, what are some of the challenges you guys had to, you alluded a little bit to it, but what are some of the challenges you guys faced and you had to overcome as a family working together?
Okay, sure, Merv. I'll start with this one, and then Hannah could jump in afterwards if you want. We thankfully, you know, we did not have much trouble working together because our family is close knit, and so working together, it worked like a well machine, as people say. What we had to do is like you said, the rules have to be clearly defined. So Hannah is the baker, right? She's the one in the kitchen. She's, and so when it comes to figuring out how to knead the bread or how to get the recipe perfect, we all turn to her, and it's her. She has the last decision. Yes, she may ask my mom or my aunt, or like she said, her whole family is one that or her whole family is in the kitchen, so everyone has a bit of expertise. But when it comes to that kind of stuff, she's the one with the last say, and those kind of well-defined rules has helped us to work smoothly. And like I said, I've been working to manage it and promote it, and so Hannah often comes to me and say, what you think about this, to promote it, or I go to her and say I have an idea, because she's still the founder, and I said I have an idea to promote the business, and then she would say yes or no. But well-defined rules are a good way to work well with family, and also good communication. You have to communicate. Don't be afraid to communicate and say, I think it will be better this way, right? It does not hurt to communicate. And yeah, those are the steps that we take.
Man, that's good. That's very good, Paul. Hannah, any thoughts on your end? We're hearing from Paul, but how for you as the creator? I know for me, sometimes I'm creating something and it's kind of hard to kind of, welcome that outside, that third party voice, and to say, hey, maybe you need to try this or do it differently when you already know how you wanted it. Like, how have you had that experience? And if so, what did you do to kind of overcome that and welcome the input of others?
I have had the challenges, especially with with David. He is our he creates all our logo through in our films, and there are times I'll be like, nah, I don't see that. So he would be like, he would try very hard to sell that idea, and he won't give up. Like, this will work, this will work, and I would be like, I know, work with a lot of stuff, and he would, go to my mom and sell it to her, and then sell it and say, come back, and but every time he has an idea for loaves, he has not failed. Every time he came with an idea, and he said, even if at the beginning we don't see it the way he see it, and whenever you get on board with it, his ideas are always, spectacular. He has never failed, so it has taken a lot in the sense that, personally, there are times I would come to him like, I don't think this will work. I would go to my sisters or Paul himself, and they would be like, no, with every small business, this is an obstacle. You have to get through that. So with them, we face, there are times we'll be like, it's, as a family, you will hit that we will hit heads, but we always seems to, it never leads to anything huge. Like Paul said, we are close knit, so it's always, we sit and talk it out and we figure it out with ease. It's so far it has been with ease. Yeah.
So good, man. That's amazing, Hannah. I do applaud and respect you guys. I see it. I stand from the outside watching it, and I love the way that you guys work together, hash it out, because you hash it out. I hear sometimes the big back and forth hashing it out, but you guys are willing to enter the conflict to truly hash it out to bring about excellent product. And that while I'm on that point, let's talk a little bit about some of the products that you guys are doing. And guys, when I say that entrepreneurship and the creativity in entrepreneurship is such a unique thing, and I see that in what you guys are doing through Love. So we're going to bring up on the screen some of your products here, just so that our people can see, right? People can see what's going on here. And so talk to us a little bit about what we're looking at. Talk to us a little bit about some of your products, and kind of the inspiration behind it.
Paul, do you want to handle this one?
Well,
assigning roles, right?
Yeah, I could talk a bit, but if you want to get the inside scoop and really get your your mouth watering, I think the chef will have the best description of the stuff. But I will go through some of the stuff that we have and then Hannah could go more in detail if you need. Well, the name of the business is Loaves, right? And that had to be inspired from something. So obviously we sell loaf bread. And we've been told that our loaf bread is very, very good. It's excellent, and it stays fresh up to 3, 4, I'll say 5 days, right? And so we have loaf bread, we have cinnamon twists, we have fruity swirls, we have coconut, chocolate, lemon, pineapple, and you know the ones coconut and pineapple and such are made with real fruits, right? We use the real fruit. We have garlic, herb. We have wheat and plain sub. We do sub bread. We do burger buns and a whole host of other stuff. You know, we also try to do stuff that are unique and not seen in the market. You know, in the Belmopan market. You know, in the baker scene in Belmopan. I'm trying to say, right? And I think Hannah could get more in detail in that. But we've done some amazing products that, besides being very delicious, is aesthetically pleasing, and people have been amazed at some of the stuff that we can create from bread. And so, Hannah, you want to talk a bit about the basket or something to that extent?
Yeah, I was going to ask about that
Sure.
because, guys,
Like
I was going to ask about the basket because I remember at the Bamapan Market Day, you were raffling edible basket where everything was made from bread. Everything was made, like everything was edible. There was stuff in it, stuff around it. Like, talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. We have our edible basket. We bring it in wheat and plain, as well as the products inside. The basket came about with, we had the idea to do a raffle for our trusted, customers. And I sat with Ruth one evening, my sister, and I was telling her that we want to do a basket, but I don't want it to be like the ordinary uh, um, basket that we would see during the Easters, that is normally going around whenever they do a raffle. And we sat and we were going through different things, and I asked her, I said, do you think it's possible to do an edible basket that we could would be from our products, and just incorporate smaller products inside it? And we tried and failed, and we tried and burnt it and failed, and and we kept trying until we figured it out. And from there we went on doing we did the edible basket. We do it, you could do it by orders if we for Christmas, Mother's Day, birthdays. And we incorporate smaller version of each of our product in it. And we're also looking into doing the edible cookie basket, which would be the same thing, fully edible, but inside would be fruits or different cookies and muffins that loaf also creates, right? And we have our edible animals for the kids as well, which is, we do it in the shape of frogs and lobsters and just different, that, for kids. We have some kids like my nieces who at times give trouble to eat, the regular bread, and that is just a way to get them to eat it because it's friendly.
Very good, very good, guys. And I'm telling you from personal experience, it is delicious. It's actually because of Hannah subs, I got back into subs. Like I love subs. I'm making so I get her wheat bread, and I would bring it home and I would make a very mean, delicious sub for the kids and for us. And I put in my order regularly, right? So I just want to encourage you guys. I want to let you know it tastes good. It's very, 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 very yummy. So someone says, how can people find you? Do you have a menu of what's available daily?
We are located at number 1 Iguana. We also have our Facebook page, Loaves, and our phone number is posted up there. We have with each customer, would ask if you would want a daily menu, which we send via WhatsApp, and we posted on our page and on Billy's Buy and Sell, Bamapan Buy and Sell, you know, the buy and sell pages. So we do daily updates of, because not each product we make eat every day, you know, it's daily shifting. The only products that is done daily are the, you know, the loaves, the cinnamon, and the subs. Then the others are shifted through the week.
Very good. So,
Yes,
oh, go ahead.
if I could just add here, Merv, that pretty soon, before the year is up, you will be able to find us in some stores around Bamapan. At least that is our goal. And so, yeah, we will let you guys know when we are in stores and which stores we are in, and that will be another outlet for you to find us.
Very good. Very good. So talk to us a little bit. We have a few more minutes. Talk to us a little bit about what has been the most challenging part of managing your bakery.
For me personally, one of the challenging parts of it was getting a customer base. You know, most people will see me as a friendly, outgoing person, but the minute I have a customer, once you're a customer, you know, it's easy for me to relate to you one-on-one. But to do that marketing of going out and getting customers have been one of my challenges, because then I don't know, my words don't come. I don't know how to interact on that level. Also, you know, personally would be, you know, there are times you feel like it's not working. You know, there are times, especially with the pandemic, sales would be, you know, with the shifting of the curfew hours, you know, which stores can be open and which one can't. You know, it has been a challenge. Some days sales are really low, you know, and I would go to my mom and say, you know, I don't know if it's working or if we will keep up, because, you know, the sales are bad. And I know there are times my family come together and sales are bad, and my mom would come and say, I'm getting this, and this, you know, and she would try her best to buy up all that is left, you know, and that's just a mother's love for her kids. You know, she wants to see as a family business between the siblings, it prosper, you know, and those are the challenges for me.
Very good. Those are real challenges that a lot of entrepreneurs are facing right now, especially with the pandemic, not knowing what sometimes a week will look like, you know, the change of curfew, you know, so it's a reality. It's a real reality. And I just want to, first of all, just want to say kudos to all the entrepreneurs that are fighting through, that are holding through. I know some, you know, the last time the curfew changed, we had guests that were lined up to come in, and they got affected because a lot of their business happened in the night. And so when the curfew changed, it affected their ability to operate. And it can be really discouraging. It can become very disheartening at times, right? And so what would you say to those entrepreneurs who are fighting through right now? If you had to give them one encouragement, what would that encouragement be?
Don't give up would be, you know, for me, you know, that's what a lot of other, you know, small business owners gave me, you know, don't give up, you know, push through. If we see that one idea that we have isn't working, not because that one doesn't work doesn't mean others won't, you know. So if you're trying and you see, all right, this isn't working, or the way I'm doing this isn't working, then brainstorm again and, you know, go through your ideas and try again. I mean, the internet is there. There are a lot of good online resources that we could use. You know, you go and you Google, and there are many. Sometimes there are free classes that you could take on just how personally to deal with a small business. You know, so that would be one of them. You know, there are outlets there for small business owners if you just take the time to do the research. Google, talk to other business owners in Belize. You know, I know a lot of, as Mervyn said, Tas Belize, you know, there's Miss Shelley Usher. If you have a question, you know, she would never not answer a question for a small business owner. In our films, you know, they will answer if you have a question you can't figure out, you know, go to bigger business and people that you see is, you know, doing the same as you and you ask questions, you know, it's never there's never a dead end when you ask for
Yeah.
help. Yeah.
Man, very good. I really, really love that, Hannah. That great advice, great tips for entrepreneurs, those who are fighting through in this time. Man, really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for coming on. And once again, let us know how people can access your product. Let us know just as we're winding down this segment with you. Let us know how people can get in touch with you and access your product. I'll let Paul do that one.
Okay, sure. Like Hannah said, we are on Facebook under Loaves, Loaves. You'll find us there on our Facebook page. There is a number posted that you can WhatsApp or call. And if you want to swing by, number 1 Iguana on Avenue, that's in Mountain View area. And there is a setup there every day, and you could swing by there in person if you want. And like I said, pretty soon we'll be in the stores, and then you will have more outlets to find us at.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Lowe's, for being a part of tonight's segment. Really, really appreciate you guys. What we're going to do, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we get back, we'll be talking with Sherwyn. He's actually tuning in from the US, a good friend of mine. And he will be talking about what he's working on and what he's doing with his brand and his vision. So let's take a quick commercial break.
Are you ready to move your business forward? Are you ready to make an impact? Are you ready to go beyond what is? Hungry for more traffic, engagement, customers? Here is your chance to become more successful in the digital world. With fresh, creative, innovative strategies for your organization's messaging, website, videos, graphics, photos, and sound. Skyrocket your brand's digital identity. We do what works. We do things differently. We learn from you to understand your business needs. Tell your story, reach more people, and close more sales. Contact us now to take your business to the next level. TAS Belize, the heart of entrepreneurial innovation.
Welcome back. I wanted to say something really fast just now, but my mouth got tongue twisted. But I just want to say thank you those who are tuning in, staying with us. I just want to give a quick shout out to Maria Ferguson Neal, tuning in from the States, Miss Yonette Odessa Hall. Thank you guys for the comments. Thank you guys for sending in your remarks. And again, we want to hear from you. If you have questions for our guests, feel free to send it in. It's a discussion. It's not just an interview. So you are a part of the discussion. And to be a part of that discussion, you got to use the comment section. So whether you're on YouTube or you are on Facebook, use the comment section to ask questions. Our guests would love to give insights as well. Where it's an entrepreneurial spotlight. We're talking about what they're doing, but we also know that they have lessons. They've learned a few things through their own journey, and they are more than willing to share that with you. Our next guest hails all the way from the United States. Actually, I was hanging out with him yesterday in Miami. I can't believe, like, yesterday we were in Miami, and now I'm in Belize, and he's back up there. And but a good friend of mine. We've really gotten to know each other, and we're getting to know each other more, collaborating in our different areas. He is the visionary behind Gospel Music Buzz, and they're producing wholesome content and music and really highlighting and amplifying the message of wholesome content and music. So I want to welcome Sherwyn to the screen and have him join us, and we're going to have a little chat with him. Hey, Sherwyn, how are you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, man? Exactly like you said, we were just sitting, breaking bread yesterday and chopping it up, and now we're here on the screens again.
I know, right? Yeah, we were doing a quick live yesterday at the hotel as well, just chilling. And man, the world is getting small. It's getting really small, and it's amazing how 1 minute we can be together and the next minute we can be miles and miles apart, right? So I just want to welcome you to the show. Thank you for being a guest with us tonight. I want to say good night to Nadia. Thank you for jumping in. Thank you for always jumping in. I see you've been tuning in with us a few weeks, and I really, really appreciate you as a fan of the show, as a viewer of the show. So Sherwyn, help Belize get to know you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing and the Gospel Music Buzz, and kind of what sparked that for you.
Thanks. Yeah. Hey, Murph. Yeah. Thanks again. No, definitely. Thank you for the invite to be on the show. So yeah, Gospel Music Buzz. So Gospel Music Buzz is a premier faith-based marketing and media platform. And what that basically means is that we implement strategy to help brands, independent artists, anyone that's within that space to maximize their potential. And we're doing that in various ways. That can be by way of promotion, consulting, digital content creation, interviews to bring about awareness, event coverage. And the idea behind this actually started with my wife, who's in the comments, Yanette, in the comments, is that Yanette also is an independent artist. She released her first album back in 2012. And we were promoting her album, working with different promoters and media, content creation individuals and so forth. And I keep seeing a pattern. It was always this, hey, once you start, it kind of like, hey, whether you're doing it for a week, you're doing it for 2 weeks, but there was never a seamless translation. There was never always a plan, a strategy. How can you do this? How can you map out for 3 months? So there was always something that was happening there. And in doing this, time and time again, I kept finding myself saying, hey, if I were to start a business like this is what I would do. And if I were to start it, and that list of if I were to start started to get pretty long. And then one day I'm sitting down, I'm like, I have all these ideas. If I were to start, let's start it. So that's kind of how this was birthed.
I love that. If I, and for those, we said it earlier, as entrepreneurs, we're looking at things that's happening, and sometimes it's staring at us, and we're thinking to ourselves, maybe it's just me, or maybe it's not a big deal. But then you start to realize you're talking to more people, and more people have that same pain. More people are struggling with that same issue, and then you can make a decision to be a solution and an answer to it, right? And that's how so many great innovations, so many great ideas get sparked, and then it takes off from there. What were some of the earlier challenges that you faced in taking this idea, having this list of what if, and it's okay, it's time for me to act on this? What were some of the earlier challenges you had to overcome to get it off the ground?
Well, for me, and that's a great question, right? So starting off, one of the first things that I started with is, hey, how can I, be a gateway for independent artists? Yes, I would do things and I would promote and I would do all of this for known artists as well. But starting out the gate, I would just look for, if someone is releasing something, it's kind of just getting that content, vetting that content, ensuring that you're not just posting anything that might not line up with wholesome, might not line up with, what the messaging, the branding need to be. But in the beginning, it was just finding the right content, finding the right individuals, and just getting them to say, hey, we're going to post your content. We're going to promote you. We're going to spotlight you. We're going to talk about you. And we did that. And going into it, it was never even about charging, right? Yeah. So going into it, we did this, and I would say for about a good 3.5, almost 4 years before I started getting messages like, hey, what would you charge for this? If I want you to speak to me and walk me through this process, if I want this, if I want that, what would that cost be? But our main focus in the beginning, and still is, was providing you with the buzz on gospel and wholesome content in general. So we were, going out there seeking, getting that content, being tapped in with label companies, being tapped in with radio stations, just being tapped in all the sources. So I would say first, getting the content, but also building the genuine relationships.
Yeah.
Because what I didn't want to come over as, hey, you're following someone, 2 minutes later, you're in their inbox, and like the relationship is foisted, right? That's why it took us so long. We were, almost in our 5.5 year span now. And is that we took a lot of that beginning phase, not thinking about cost, just thinking about what can we produce that others can find value in, but also building solid relationships along the way.
Man, that's really good. I as you were sharing that, I remember, I'm not sure if I read this or I heard this, but the person sharing it with me was saying, if you want to know what you're called to do, what your purpose is, can you get up and do it even if there's not a payment attached to it? If can you get up and faithfully keep locking in on that, showing up every day, being consistent with that, even if there isn't any money per se that's attached to it? And I think that's a key thing, because if you're motivated by the money, to me, that's very narrow-sighted. The money will come. It will come. That's just a reality. But it has to be a bigger vision. There has to be something greater that we're working towards, greater transformation, greater impact in people's lives. And then if we are able to help enough people get what they want, eventually we will start to get what we need and what we want through the financial resource, right? Sherwyn, just so that people kind of have a grade of where you're coming from, because you and we were talking some about this, you've been investing for years, you've been networking, collaborating, pouring into folks. Talk to us a little bit. Who are some of the people you've rubbed shoulders with, people you've come in contact with, maybe even some of the names that folks might know, and that you've kind of collaborated with and worked with through this whole process?
Yeah, I mean, through the process, over the years, like recently, we've interviewed, Maverick City. We've interviewed Todd Delaney, Doe Jones, Doe from there. We've interviewed, JJ Harris. I mean, we've interviewed a lot of prominent, artists that individuals would know. We've also sat on a few, panels, like with TD Jakes when he released a few movies. We were a part of that interview panel. David Oyelowo that released, a few movies as well. He's a great director from the UK. We interviewed him. And again, some of those things is like, we also interviewed a lot of great, prominent independent artists as well too. Yeah. And it's not to take away anything from the independent artists, but it always is a humbling experience, because we don't always go out to say, hey, how can I find this person's manager because I want to interview them? But then the email would come like, hey, I'm representing this artist by the name of, Maverick City. Do you guys want to interview them? I'm like, do I want to interview them?
It's like, send them along, like, seriously.
But it's always just, again, the favor and just a genuine relationship. People just seeing you're constantly sharing, you're supporting. And then when something is happening, their managers just willingly reach out like, hey, we're doing so-and-so, are you available to be a part of this? So, those are some of the names over the years. Yeah.
That's cool. One of the things I've experienced and I've seen and I'm hearing in what you're sharing is that, when we get clear on our vision, clear on our direction and what we're about, and then, I love what Charlie Waite said, money is the byproduct of your passion. So when you're pursuing that passion and you're not so much caught up about the money, like God just orchestrate things just fall into place. I just find it amazing that, I'll give you an example. We were talking about our show and kind of how to expand our show and the reach of our show. And I said to my wife, I said, hey, it would be great if we can get in this space with these people. And boom, all of a sudden an opportunity opened up that I was able to get in that space. I wasn't even looking for it directly. We just knew to advance this vision and to take that next step. This is what needs to happen. And I'm sharing that to say that the importance of getting really clear on your vision, getting really clear on your purpose, and really keeping that in front of you. So my question to you, Renrick, sorry, I'm thinking about Renrick, Sherwyn, sorry. My question to you is, how do you keep the focus of your vision in front of you? What are some of the things that you've done? Because you've been in this for a few years, right? And I mean, we were talking over this weekend some of the current challenges you're facing. What do you do to keep the vision and the purpose in front of you?
Yeah, definitely, and shout out to Renrick too, because we were on the phone with Renrick just yesterday. Yes. So that's why. For anyone that's wondering, we were all on the phone yesterday together. Yeah. No, some of the challenges. I mean, right now, I would say one of the main challenges that we are, that's became a challenge, I would say, about maybe a week ago, is our main Instagram account, which we've built up over almost 5+ years. We've gotten to close to about 16,000 or so followers, and that's at Gospel Music Buzz with 2 Z's. That account was recently shut down. So that account being shut down, we've tried to send in requests and different things to Instagram to get the account put back online. And then during that same process is during that same week, individuals try hacking our email accounts. We spun up a secondary account with just Gospel Music Buzz with 1 Z. And in less than 24 hours, that account also got reported and got flagged. And then it was shadow banned for an entire week. We couldn't post, couldn't communicate. So it was just this challenge of, we were making all these announcements. We were partnering with this radio station, with this television station. We were doing all these things and kind of picking up some great momentum. And then boom, that happened. And then all these different things started coming out of the various ways. But for me, there's still clarity in the midst of that, right? There's clarity in the midst. There's stepping back. There's revamping. There's retweaking. There's readjusting. Sure, it would be great. We still want to get the page back. But one of the messages that I also, as I'm reaching out to clients and such, is, hey, we're more than just the page. The page was great for the marketing aspect, but the page is not, it's not the strategy. The page is not the consulting. Exactly. The page is not what we've built up. It's not the relationships. Because even without the page, if we go somewhere and we're speaking to individuals, those individuals still remember the value that we've added along their journey as well. So, it's great, but that's not what it is. And I think a lot of people similarly experience that, right? Because when Instagram went down for almost 6 to 8 hours, a lot of people were panicking, but also a lot of people revamped their strategy. So that's why I wanted to segue in a bit, is that, hey, as an entrepreneur, when you hit certain, issues and certain pain points, use that time to reevaluate your strategy. Hey, if this were to happen again, what can I do better so that I can, quickly breeze through this? What can I do better so that this wouldn't become much of an obstacle? And that's kind of the phase that we were in, because even as part of a strategy that we implement, even when talking with new clients, when we're having our pre-audit session, is that we kind of tackle it from 4 points. We assess, develop a strategy, implement that strategy, and then monitor the strategy. And during that monitoring phase, whether it's 3, 6, 9 months, even a year, then you make adjustments again. And you reassess that last phase, and then you kind of just keep it in a cycle. So that's the same thing we were doing then. It's the same thing I'm doing here. I'm like, okay, let's monitor. This is what happened. Let's reassess and audit, and then let's just keep going.
And you brought up a very good point there, and I wanna segue into that as well. Just for those, I'm in the marketing space, web development space. We were talking a lot about strategies over this weekend, and when Instagram, Facebook went down, so many companies lost tons of money because they put all their marbles there. And here's a strategy. Here's a reality. If you're, I know when you're starting up, there's not a lot of budget. There's not a lot of money. You want to use the free platforms. It's great. That's what they're there. But you have to have a strategy to move towards having your own platform. What does that look like? That looks like your website. That looks like your own space that you can start send content to and send people to, so that even if those other stuff fade away, you have your content still. Like, so you want to be having a mailing list. You want to be collecting emails. You want to make sure that you're following up with folks through their emails. You want to make sure that you have your site up. Even if there's a blog, you start there and evolve from there, right? And so just some little adjustment strategies to keep in mind as you're building your brand, as you're building your company, as you're growing your company. Sherwyn, one of the things we were talking a lot about, and you said something very profound about you love collaboration. When we were in Miami yesterday, talk to us a little bit about the importance of developing strong networks, and how do you go about, what's your thought process when you're thinking about building a network, building a new relationship, connecting with someone, collaborating with someone? What are some of the thought processes that you go through?
Yeah. So again, when I'm looking at collaboration, while we have opportunities that's coming all the time, hey, let's collaborate, let's chop it up, let's do that. I go into every new relationship, every new connection, there still have to be a level of discernment, right? So I'm having a regular conversation, but I'm also discerning. I'm feeling the person out. I'm having discussions. I'm asking questions, but it's just, it's feeling where that person's spirit is, asking them, hey, so what's your vision for what you're doing? Because one thing in any partnership is that you don't want someone that is just pulling from you. You need someone that's going to add value. Together, you can lift each other up. Together, you can build each other brand. If that individual is just seeing you as an opportunity, and you cannot, not to say you should always have that, but in a partnership, when you're thinking business and strategy, you have to be able to go into something that is going to be mutually beneficial. So in having conversations, recently, like I mentioned, we partnered with Praise 365 Radio. And, we had a discussion, Scooter and I talked, we spoke, we talked about different things. And I just heard his love for his craft, his love for people, his love for his craft, his passion for Christ. Is just, it all came out in the discussion. And at that point in time, I'm like, okay, perfect. This seems like a good direction because, I just felt it out from that process. So for me, when I'm going into any relationship and partnership, I'm looking for also things that I might not be as good with. So when I'm speaking with clients, I'm doing an audit. I'm checking their websites and checking different things. And I come back to them and I say, hey, you need a new website. I don't do website, but as a part of my network that I have, these are the individuals that do website. I'll provide some quotes, have them choose. That I see as a value add to the clients, and as well as me being able to provide a service to someone. So that would be one thing. If someone is looking for radio servicing, I've spoken to tons of individuals that does radio servicing. And I can say, hey, here's the tier. You can pay this much, this much, this much. Here's a list of individuals. So it's just understanding individuals, understanding, where their heart is for what they're doing. Because the last thing you want to do is partner with someone that just view people as a product. You don't want that. It's people at the end of the day. They're working hard for their monies. They're spending their monies. You have to be able to value that. You have to be able to add value and don't just view them as just, something else that's going to make you profitable.
Man, that's really, really, really good. We have about 8 more minutes to go, man, and I'm really enjoying this conversation. And even from what you said just now, it's so important, guys, to really get clear on, and I said it earlier, on your vision, get clear on your values as well. So, one of the questions that came in, how do you identify opportunities to network? And I think some of what you were sharing just now kind of started to answer that, because you're kind of like, okay, are we aligned with values? Are we aligned with vision? Are we aligned with how we see people? Are we aligned with how we see money? Is it all about the money, or is it all about the people? Those, I think those are some of the opportunities. That those are some of how you identify some of the opportunities. But is there anything else you want to add to that? Like, how do you identify opportunities to network?
Yeah. So again, I look at things that if I'm constantly being asked by clients I'm speaking with to say, hey, I'm looking to do this. I'm looking to do this constantly. Someone comes on board, and during the discussion, there's always this gap. And I know, hey, this is something I'm not looking to do. I might have the ability, but I want to be focused on other things. But there's an opportunity there. I'm going to start looking at individuals in that space and having those discussions to see, hey, how can I do that? Because any partnership shouldn't just be partnering just to say you're partnering, right? It has to be a defined vision as far as what this partnership is going to solve. Because at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, we're solving problems, right? We're solving problems. We're making systems better. We're adding value. So it's looking at areas in which I can't fully commit to, but other individuals need. When it comes to graphic designing, I can have discussions with someone and they would be like, hey, I want a week's worth of content. I want 2 weeks worth of content. I personally don't want to sit the time. I can strategize the content with them, but I can't sit there and design all these stuff. So I'm going to partner with a group of designers to say, hey, I'm going to fuel projects to you guys once someone comes in, and then that's what is going to be done there. So it's figuring out where you have gaps, what you're doing, Don't be afraid to partner with someone that can add value. And then you guys figure out, cost, figure out saving, figure out all of that. But kind of going back to cost again, like you said, you don't want to partner with someone that is all about money, because I've been in that situation before. They will steamroll you. They will steamroll other people. You would make recommendations. They will make you look bad. So, you want to be very clear. Like, don't, if someone is just always, hey, so how much are they charging? What is this? What, like, you got to just reel it back.
Yeah, man, very, very, very good input. Very good thoughts there. I have one more question for you before we're out, because we're almost out of time. We have about 5 more minutes. But talk to us a little bit about this. As an entrepreneur, we're doing business, especially in your space, my space, we're dealing with a lot of clients. We're in the marketing space. People come with different needs. And sometimes they're not clear on what they want. They have an idea of what they want. And then you start down that path, and then it turns into more than you anticipate. And then you have to kind of engage that conversation to kind of reassess the project. Sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't go well. So have you had situations like that, and how did you overcome it? Like, let's talk a little bit about maybe when it went well and what you did, and then when it did not go well and what you had to do in those situations.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've had situations, again, where it has gone well, in situations where, let's say, if we're doing lyric videos or we're doing different things, especially from the design aspect, right? So I can be meticulous. I can sit with someone. We will provide them with a product. It can be an edited video. They give us footage. We edit the video. We would do it. And if you're constantly being told, oh, the first thing that I step away from is when someone comes in and they say, just do something and give it to me. That is the utmost no. I've done that before, and we kept doing, and the person just does not like it, but they cannot articulate what they want.
Yes.
And we've gone down that process. I'm utilizing my designer. I can't get to the next project because I keep making revisions. And at that point, I just stop and I say, hey, I'm going to give you back a refund. I value your business. I value our friendship and our relationship, but I don't think we're seeing eye to eye creatively. And I've provided back refunds that way. In other instance, I said, hey, let's get on a Zoom call together. Let's go through examples. Let's look at all of this. Let's get exactly what you need. And then I'm going to go back to my designer. Because if you don't know what you need, I'm not going to know what you need. And my designer sure not going to know what you need.
It's a domino effect. Yeah,
exactly.
Very
so
good.
See clarity. Clarity is the utmost.
I love it, man. I love that advice. I think that will end with that advice, because I think so many business startups find themselves in that space. Sherwyn, tell us, how can people get in touch with you, and how can they follow what you're doing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, follow what we're doing. You can find us on our website, gospelmusicbuzz.com, and we're Gospel Music Buzz on all platforms. Our shows are posted on YouTube, so Gospel Music Buzz on YouTube, Twitter, with the exception of Instagram, at least for now, is Gospel Music Buzz with one Z.
One Z, yeah.
One Z. We need y'all to help get these followers back up. Get these interactions back up, inbox us, comment, whatever the case is. You have your press release, send it along. Let's just build a network and just reform this community.
Awesome. Man, Sherwyn, thank you. It's such a pleasure having you. Thank you for your advice, your tips. Thank you for being part of the show. And we definitely will stay in touch and do some more great stuff together.
For sure. Thanks a lot, Marvin. Thanks, guys.
All right.
Good night.
And guys, thank you so much for tuning in and just really hanging in with us tonight. We had a really awesome discussion, both with Hannah Loves and Gospel Music Buzz. We're at the end. We're out of time. So I just want to leave you and just thank you guys. And I just want to thank our team, Kimana, Ruth, Joshua, Sherwyn, for just being behind the scenes and all the awesome work you're doing. I want to thank TNC, Caribbean Invest TV, Soar Rise TV for broadcasting this show. And guys, awesome news. We are now on Apple iTunes as well as on Spotify. So for those who love podcasting and following podcasts, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple and iTunes and just just stay in the loop of what's happening, go to our website, creativemondayshow.com, where we post everything, all our episodes, our past podcasts, our past shows. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place, right here on the Creative Monday Discussion Show. God bless you. Take care. Good night.